Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the time is here. WWE 2K22 is right around the corner, and I'm not gonna lie, I do have high hopes. Like after seeing what a disaster 2K20 was, I do hope that 2K goes all out for 2K22. I'm gonna be bringing you guys a wish list of what I would like to see in WWE 2K22, and yes, I am filming in a classroom, so don't mind that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first item on the list is Story Designer. And if you don't know what Story Designer is, it's a feature that they had back in WWE 2K14 and 13, where you could create your own storyline. Like they had so many different components, from like the setting, the type of storyline it was. Like there were so many, like even camera angles. There were so many different features to Story Designer that made it so great. And I would love to see that feature come back for WWE 2K22. And that's a great addition for content creators like myself. Like I create a lot of storyline related content, like from the Sasha Banks and Bayley saga. You can check that out with the link in the description. Also, I'm working on a new storyline featuring Io Shirai that will be coming up in the next few weeks, so be on the lookout for that. Anyway, so it would be a great idea for content creators who make storyline content for YouTube, and they should also include an option to like maybe record the storyline, like the story that we create, and like somehow export it to the Xbox Live Cloud or PlayStation Cloud or Community Creations so others can try it out. So moving on to our second item on the list is the Creation Suite. And this is what needs work the most in my opinion. The Creation Suite, starting with Create a Superstar. Create a Superstar needs a lot of work. And you guys remember how like back in the older games such as No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, where you can completely edit the wrestler from their face to their hair, attire, everything. Like you could do a full customization of their character, and that's what I would like to see return for WWE 2K22. Like, come on. If it's like, say for instance, I wanted to give Seth Rollins short hair or something, like I should be able to do that. Come on, 2K, like just give us something fun to work with. Moving on to Create an Arena, and for this one, I would like to see more options for arenas. Like I would like to see more stadium arenas, Japan arenas. We didn't get that in 2K20 or 2K19. Like the Japan arena was there, but we just couldn't customize it, which I really hated. Also, indie style arenas. You create your own independent show and you can have like more options for independent wrestling style arenas. And for this one, I would like to see a full customization of the arena, from the stage layout to the crowd placement, even like from the backstage area, GM's office, locker rooms, merch stand, interview area, the whole nine. Also, like you guys remember like back in WrestleMania 10, like that entrance, that Madison Square Garden entrance where you can come through the middle aisle. Like I would like to see that return. Moving on to Create an Entrance, a feature that I would love to see for creating entrance, it's like you have different camera angle options for entrances. I believe WrestleMania 19 had this feature where you can set different camera angles for different parts of the entrance. Like if you're going down the ramp, you can set a camera angle for that. And if you're like going into the ring, you could set a different camera angle for that. So like just give us more creativity when it comes to entrances. And also for entrances, I would like to see fully customizable tag team or trios entrances, which is basically 3-man entrances. Like similar to how we do it for like a basic single entrance. I would love to see a fully customizable tag team entrance, from the movement to the graphics to the pyro. You can edit pyro, camera angles, all of that. You know, I'm not really a fan of the whole, like where everything is just preset. the lighting and everything. Also, moving on to Spotify integration. This is the feature that I am begging for the most. I would love to have the option to import my own music into the game. Like, I would love to come out to one of my favorite songs. And also, menu music should be an option for entrance themes. All right, so moving on to Create a Finisher, which was also another feature from WWE 2K14, which is arguably the best 2K game in my opinion. And Create a Finisher, I would love to see options for standing finishers, which we've seen in the past, running finishers, top rope finishers, we've seen that one in the past, tag team finishers, and also corner finishers. I believe we saw corner finishers in 2K14. I believe it was standing finishers, top rope finishers, and corner finishers that we saw in 2K14. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's basically it for this video. There will be multiple parts to this video. I will upload them in the days ahead, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what your wish list is for WWE 2K22. I would love to see it. I'm gonna read all the comments. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to be notified of my latest videos. All right, peace out, y'all. So moving on to our third item on the list is match types. Now, this is probably going to be the shortest video of them all since there's not much to cover here. So, and the list of match types that I really want to see is number one, definitely, they need to bring back special referee. It is long overdue. They should have brought this back a long time ago. 2K, please, please, please bring back special referee. All right, moving on to an ambulance match. Now, I've never seen an ambulance match in a video game, in a wrestling video game before. I would love to see how they integrate it, especially with the new next-gen technology for Xbox Series X and PS5. Next, we have a casket match / buried alive match. Now, there's a difference between the two. Casket match, you're putting them in a casket. Buried alive, you're putting them underground. So I would love to see either of those modes make a comeback. It doesn't have to be both, just one, just one. We're moving on to a classic, which is the Inferno match. I loved playing Inferno matches in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. I don't know why they got rid of that feature, but I really hope they bring it back. Moving on to a gauntlet match. Now, I believe they had this feature also in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, where it was like 1-on-3. I think you had to unlock it by going through the John Cena Road to WrestleMania story mode. I love gauntlet matches personally. I would love to see this make a comeback. Moving on to a tag team turmoil match. Now, this would be a new match for WWE 2K, and how they can do it, they can have up to 6 teams, have 2 teams starting out, and then whoever wins faces the next few teams. I'm pretty sure you guys know how a tag team turmoil match works. And last, but certainly not least, Regal, take it away.
War Games! War Games! War Games!
I would love to see War Games. I want it so bad. They need to put in War Games. And for features I would like to see in the War Games match is players should be able to grab weapons. You know how they do on NXT, at TakeOver, how they bring in weapons right before they enter in. That should be a feature for War Games. And you all obviously know, if players leave the cage, they forfeit the match. And War Games can be done in 2 ways. They can either have a 3 versus 3 versus 3, which is what they did back in the first TakeOver War Games, which was back in 2017, where they had 3 teams, or they can do 4 versus 4, where they have 2 teams of 4. Right. And that's basically it, guys. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and click that notification bell to stay notified of my latest videos. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, y'all. Like, I would love to see GM mode make a return, but like also maybe they can combine it with universe mode or like have it separate. Like, I would prefer to have it separate, but like they can implement some kind of draft feature. Like, they can have a draft, like how we've seen in the old SmackDown versus Raw games. Like, when you start GM mode, you can choose either Raw or SmackDown, and then picks would be selected at random for the opposing side. Now, since there are 4 brands in the WWE currently, you can choose between SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NXT UK, and 205. That makes 5 brands, actually. You can select between either of those brands. You can draft however, well, there would obviously be a limit. Say, I think 20 superstars was the limit on SmackDown versus Raw. You can draft up to 20 superstars or however as many as you see fit. Like, you may need a solid women's division. You're gonna need a solid tag division, secondary title, world title. And also a feature I would love to see for GM/Universe mode is triple threat, 4-way, and faction rivalries. Because realistically in WWE and in wrestling period, you see all types of rivalries, not just one-on-one and tag team rivalries that are offered in universe mode. And also a rating system. Now, this could be a part of the GM mode. This could be more of a GM mode type of feature. You can have a rating system. As I've mentioned, you can select a brand and you can compete with other brands in an all-out ratings war to see who gets the most ratings. And whoever wins, like whoever has the most ratings, most viewers, I would say, by WrestleMania would become GM or promoter of the year. And also moving on to contracts. Like, this is a more of a realistic feature in WWE. In WWE, you have contracts. You have people who are signed to the company or brand for X amount of years for a certain amount of money. I would love to see that feature make a comeback because that was also featured in GM mode. Like, you could renew contracts. You can give increase, like if the superstars performing well, you can give, say, an increase, like a raise or something like that. All right, also, I would love to see injury storylines. This is another realistic feature that happens in WWE. Say, for instance, like Seth Rollins gets injured, like he has a torn ACL, like he's out for about X amount of months, probably a year. I don't know how long ACL injuries last, but you have him, you take him out for a certain period of time, you have him return at the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble. That's a storyline. And also, another feature I would like to see for Universe Mode is an online version of Universe Mode, where you can compete with others in a ratings war. You can do this by either selecting one of the 5 brands, or you can create your own brand. You can create your own promotion. You can compete with others online in a whole ratings war. I don't know exactly how that would be determined, but I would love to see that because it enhances the online playability. Like, right now, online kind of sucks. And also, moving on, another feature that I would like to see is elimination chamber matches in any arena. Like, when I make custom pay-per-views. I have a custom promotion that I run on Universe Mode. Like, I hate using the default elimination chamber arena every time I want to have an elimination chamber match. And also, Royal Rumble, same thing. I like to have a Royal Rumble match in a custom arena. Like, what if I wanted to create a classic, like an old school Royal Rumble event and have an old school Royal Rumble? Like, I should be able to have that. And lastly, please, 2K, for the love of God, please fix that promo system. It is long overdue. Certain characters have certain delivery in their promos. Like, for example, The Fiend, or The Undertaker, or Randy Orton, for example. They're not just gonna come out and just spew some generic lines. No, I would like to see certain characters get promos that are tailored towards their character. So, 2K, please fix that promo system. Like I said, I would love to see GM mode make a return. I was a fan of GM mode. I know not everyone is a fan of GM mode because it takes a lot of time and there's a lot of details involved, but I would love, I was a fan of it. I would love to see it make a comeback. I could see it realistically making a comeback. I know 2K has to go all out. 2K20 was a major flop. I really hope that 2K listen to the fans, give us what we want to see. I know we can't have everything because that's just life. You can't always have everything that you want. Life doesn't work out like that. But I hope for the most part we get to see some fan favorites return. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, click that subscribe button. Let me know what your wish list is for WWE 2K22. And I will be back next week with another part of my WWE 2K22 wish list. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Moving on to gameplay. Now, this is a feature that needs a lot of work, in my opinion. Now, I would love to see a feature where we can choose between arcade style or simulation style, because me personally, I'm a fan of both. I do like the simulation style because it gives it a more realistic feel. It emulates what you see on WWE TV. And also the arcade style. It's more fun, it's more fast-paced, similar to No Mercy or SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. And also, another gameplay feature I would love to see is a change in the submission system. I've played with both systems in WWE 2K, and honestly, they're both trash in my opinion. I use the button mashing system. I know a lot of people lean towards the control stick. They're both trash in my opinion. I would love to see the Day of Reckoning 2 submission system make a return. There were 4 options. On the control stick, you can select either taunt, which would drain their momentum, I believe, or I forgot exactly how that feature went, but the 4 features of that submission system were taunt, drain, submit, and rest hold. Also, another feature I would like to see for gameplay is a more realistic blood feature. This works for more grueling matches. If you're constantly getting hit with a chair, obviously you're going to bleed more. I would like to see more blood, even though that sounds kind of gruesome, but hey, it's wrestling. I would also like to see blood stains in the ring as a result. Also, a limb targeting system. This is something that this was kind of featured in the older SmackDown versus Raw games. For example, if an opponent is getting constantly attacked in a specific body part, say their leg, for example, they're obviously gonna limp around. And if their legs are badly damaged, it would be more difficult for them to run or hit top rope moves or more high impact moves. And moving on to commentary, you have the Raw commentary team of Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton. For SmackDown, you would have Michael Cole and Corey Graves. NXT for Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett. Even though I miss Mauro Ranallo, I miss him, I miss his commentary. I hate we didn't get to see him featured in a WWE game, but it is what it is. Also, for classic arenas, since we can't have JR, why not have Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler do the commentary? Also, make the commentary more realistic. not just sound bites or just generic reactions, especially for OMG moments. Like, I don't want to see, if I'm putting someone through a table, I don't want to hear Michael Cole just give out a bland, generic reaction. Like, oh my! Like, come on. A little bit more enthusiasm. Also, OMG moments. Now, I have a couple of ideas specifically for War Games and Hell in a Cell. For War Games, I have an OMG moment, someone diving off the War Games cage, or someone getting tossed off the War Games cage. For Hell in a Cell, thumbtacks. Thumbtacks would be a nice feature. They had this feature in Legends of WrestleMania, which is kind of a under the radar kind of game that doesn't get talked about as much, but they had a feature in Legends of WrestleMania where you can choke slam someone through thumbtacks. And also, you can rip the door off with bolt cutters. It's a more creative feature that I would like to see in Hell in a Cell matches. And also, you can rip the door off with bare hands, but you would have to be a super heavyweight in order to do this, like Kane, for example, or Braun Strowman, someone who is physically strong enough to do such a thing. Also, moving on to arenas, I would like to, well, obviously you're going to get the updated Raw arena, the updated SmackDown arena. I would like to see the Thunderdome. I believe we're going to see that, judging by the trailer. We're going to see the Thunderdome arena, the Performance Center arenas. You know, even though fans were not in attendance, it's still an integral part of WWE history. So why not include it? Also, the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT/NXT TakeOver. I believe that will be in there as well. It's all just speculation. And also, I would like to see classic WrestleMania arenas. It doesn't have to be all of them. I would like to see, for example, WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 19, 20, 21. You know, it doesn't have to be every single WrestleMania arena, because I know that would be too unrealistic, but throw some of them in there. Anyway, hope you like this video. Comment down below as to what your predictions are for WWE 2K22. Click that notification bell to stay notified of my latest videos, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out. And lastly, but certainly not least, we're going to talk about game modes and also other features that I would like to see in WWE 2K22. Now, one of the game modes that I would love to see make a comeback is Road to WrestleMania mode. We had this feature in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, 2010, 2011. I was a huge fan of Road to WrestleMania mode. I love the creative storylines that it gave us. One of my favorite storylines was John Cena in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. And for this Road to WrestleMania mode, I would choose custom storylines for Edge, Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and John Cena. For Edge, you can have sort of a redemption storyline where he becomes the World Heavyweight Champion once again, or Universal Champion. Well, in this storyline, Edge can become Universal Champion, and then the next night on SmackDown, he could reinstate the World Heavyweight Championship, because that was the belt that he never lost. And also for Roman Reigns, you could have a dominant storyline where he just straight up dominates his opponents for over a year. You know, he's the tribal chief, he's the head of the table. You can have a whole family rivalry between him and The Rock. The Rock would be his final opponent at WrestleMania. And also, Asuka, you could have a storyline with her, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai. You could have them form a faction. Now, I would love to see, this is a personal favorite of mine. I was just jotting down ideas for storylines I would love to see for this Road to WrestleMania mode, and this one really stuck out to me because I'm a huge fan of all three of them. I would love to see a faction where just three of them just flat out dominating the whole women's division. And for John Cena, this one would be a retirement storyline for John Cena, where he goes Hollywood, comes back. A lot of people hate him for what he did. People calling him a sellout, people calling him a hypocrite, just like he called The Rock a hypocrite for moving on to Hollywood. This would be a retirement storyline for John Cena, where John Cena would face an up-and-coming talent. I don't know who would be a good opponent for John Cena. Let me know down below. Yeah, this would be a whole new gimmick for John Cena. He would go full Hollywood, similar to what The Rock did. You know, the suits, the glasses, the fame, bright lights, everything. You know, Hollywood. This would all culminate in a WrestleMania match. His final WrestleMania match in which he would retire. Also, I would love to see a Road to NXT TakeOver mode. Now, this could be specifically for NXT superstars. And the NXT superstars I've selected were Dakota Kai, Adam Cole, Walter, Karrion Kross, and a male or female creator wrestler. And also for these modes, I would like to see actual voiceovers from the characters in each storyline, similar to how it was in the SmackDown vs. Raw series. You had the actual wrestlers doing the voiceovers. Each wrestler performed their own character. Moving on to my career. And honestly, this should be a video on its own. A similar format to NBA 2K's My Career. You would show the ins and outs of being a professional wrestler. It's not just going in and competing night in and night out, winning championships. Show the process of becoming a professional wrestler, training, choosing your character, choosing a manager, all of that. All the hard work that goes into being a professional wrestler. Gimmicks, merchandise, all of that. Also, I would like to see an archetype system. And this would be based on attributes and tendencies, and players could switch archetypes 2 times in their career. And these archetypes would be a high flyer, which would result in high diving attributes and access to high flying skills and abilities. And you have powerhouse, which is a high strength attribute, access to powerhouse skills and abilities. Also, you have showman, high promo attributes, access to showman skills and attributes. Also, technician, you have a high technical attribute, access to technical skills and abilities. Well-rounded, balanced attributes, and you get access to a wide range of skills and attributes. And there are 3 distinct paths a player can take, and there will be pros and cons to each one. There will be an indie darling. You can go from being a star in the indies to NXT to WWE. Obviously, this would be the longer path, but it would be more rewarding. You could start out being a nobody in the independent scene, work your way up in the independent scene, get hired by different independent companies, and then, based on your marketability, you move on to NXT, which is the proving ground to WWE, Raw and SmackDown. And homegrown, which you would start out in the Performance Center, and you would move to NXT, and based on how well you do in NXT, you would move on to the main roster. And star power, you would just go straight to WWE, like AJ Styles or Ronda Rousey. And there are 3 distinct paths to star power. This one would be you were a former actor or movie star like The Miz, or you were a former MMA fighter like Ronda Rousey, or you were a former star athlete like Kurt Angle or Bianca Belair. And moving on to character, I have 3 distinct factors as it pertains to character. One of them is marketability, and your marketability will be determined by your match performance, how well you do in promos, your merch sales, and how engaged you are with your fans on social media. Like I said, this is going to be a more in-depth My Career mode than what we're used to seeing. Show the ins and outs of being a professional wrestler, what goes on outside of the ring as well as what's going on inside of the ring. Because being a wrestler is not just about how well you do in promos. It's not just about how well you perform in the ring. It's about marketability. How well can you sell yourself to the audience? And marketability can also be determined by your match performance, your sales and engagement, and this will also lead to a higher chance of progressing to the next stage of your career based on how well you perform. And I know I mentioned social media engagement, and social media engagement comes through promoting your upcoming matches, calling out other wrestlers, or interacting with fans, etc. And moving on to the next factor of your character, which is personality. Now, this will affect your promos. You can go with either a laid-back personality style, you can go with a more passionate, angry style, you can go with a more serious style, or goofy, or a sinister style. Also, goals. Goals is another factor of your character. You can have specific goals laid out for your character. Say, for instance, if you want to get X amount of championships on the independent circuit, you can do that. Say, for instance, you want to get to a certain following on social media. That can be a goal. Another goal can be you getting a manager or winning a championship in NXT. Another goal is obviously to main event WrestleMania or headline a pay-per-view event. I know I briefly mentioned managers, and this would be a key facet of your character. Players can create their own managers, or you can obtain a manager once you move to NXT or the main roster. Obviously, you won't have a manager for the independent scene. I feel like that would be, I know they exist obviously on the independent scene, but obviously once you progress through My Career, you would get access to more perks, and that would be one of the bigger perks. As you move to NXT or the main roster, you would get a manager, or you can opt out. Okay, so for managers, you can have them sign a manager's contract, which will give you their services for 1 year. And managers may opt out of their contract if, say for instance, if you're not performing well, you're constantly losing matches, they can opt out of their contract if you're not performing well. And also this could lead to a storyline where they turn on you in the middle of a match. Or they can just simply shoot you a text saying, hey, you need to step your game up. If you don't step your game up, then I'm gone. I'm out of here. So, also, the benefit of having a manager is that they will get perks that will give you advantages in matches if you are on a winning streak. Say, for instance, if you're winning all your matches, you're on a roll. So your managers will have exclusive perks that will give you advantages in your matches. Whew. That was a mouthful. That was a lot. All right, so moving on to other features I would like to see in WWE 2K22 is a WWE Live feature. I called it this because I wanted to give it a specific name. And this is basically frequent roster updates. I know this is mentioned by many other YouTubers. Other people have mentioned this before. But I would love to see a roster update feature. NBA 2K has it, Madden has it, FIFA has it, I think. If wrestlers update their character, like they update their attires so often, it's crazy. We should have the ability to get those updates It could be like a day or two after they make their changes. Like it could be a change in attire, a change in their overall look. And for attire updates, we can still have access to the default attire. It would just be an addition to what we have already. And also graphics updates. Say for instance, if NXT has a new look now. I personally like it. So since NXT has their new look, I would love to see a graphic update for NXT. And also if Raw and SmackDown and NXT UK decided to update their graphics. That should be another part of the update. Also ratings updates. Say for instance, if a superstar is performing well on TV, we should see an increase in their attributes in the game. Now, obviously this feature can be turned off. I know not everyone will like this feature, but this feature could be an optional feature. And also, lastly, we have a performance center. And what the performance center is, it's similar to SmackDown versus Raw 2010, where you had the training center. You could just do like little warm-up matches. So this could also be a training mode. This could be either a free training. You could do either free training matches, or you can work on specific skills. And this would be similar to NBA 2K, where you have NBA 2KU, where you can work on different plays or scrimmage or freestyle or do whatever. So also for the performance center mode, you could do a level up feature for your creative wrestlers. Instead of just changing their attributes to how you see fit in creative wrestler, you can just do the level up feature where creative wrestlers could get attribute increases by going through the performance center, by constantly working on specific skills or working on just doing free training in the ring. And that is it for my WWE 2K22 wish list. I know that was a lot to handle. Sorry, not sorry. But let me know what your wish list is. Leave a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button to stay click that notification bell to stay notified of my latest videos. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.